Hello po mga ka-viral and welcome back again to this YouTube channel. Latest update na naman tayo. Vice President Sara Duterte mainit na binabantayan ngayon ng National Bureau of Investigation pagkatapos mag-file ng mga kasong NBI sa Department of Justice o DOJ sa Vice Presidente. Nag-file ng mga kasong inciting to sedation at grave threat kaugnay di umano sa naging pahayag ni Vice President Sara Duterte noong November 2024 na nagbabanta kay Pangulong PBBM, First Lady Lisa Marcos at House Speaker Martin Romualdez na ayon sa NBI isang seryosong pagbabanta sa Pangulong PBBM sa asawa nito at kay House Speaker Romualdez. Kinumpirma naman ng DOJ na natanggap na nila ang reklamo ng NBI at nagsisimula na silang i-evaluate ito para masimulan na ang preliminary investigation. Pinaghahanap na rin sa ngayon ng NBI ang di umanong inutusan ni VP Sara Duterte na gagawa ng plano kina BBM, Lisa Marcos at Romualdez na ayon kay VP Sara ay meron daw itong inutusan upang isagawa ang plano sakaling may mangyaring masama sa kanya. Ayon pa sa NBI ay hindi humarap si VP Sara noong ito'y ipinatawag nila upang sagutin ang mga isyong ito. Subalit naglabas ng statement ang kanyang kampo na ayon sa kanila ay inaasahan na nila ito. Matatandaang noong November 2024 ay naglabas ng maiinit na mga mensahe si VP Sara kung saan nagbanta ito kay PBBM, Lisa Marcos at Martin Romualdez. Subalit makalipas ang ilang araw ay binawi nito ang sinabi nito at wala daw itong pagbabanta. Wala itong inutusan at higit sa lahat ay hindi seryoso ang kanyang mga sinabi.
Remember, no one is above the law. Kung sino nagpapailay ng law, kahit sino ka pa man, ay papanagutin ka namin. At yung sinasabi niya na hulihin namin yung ibang mga kriminal, di pa siya nanonood ng TV, halos araw-araw may huli ang NBI. Trabaho po kami ng trabaho. No? Hindi po kami nagpapabaya sa aming trabaho. At ito pong kaso na ipinataw, isinampa namin laban kay Vice President. That was filed not because she is a Vice President. That was filed because she committed a crime. Threatening the President, inciting to sedition, kahit sino pa siya. No? Ang NBI po ay mananatili neutral, impartial, apolitical, wala po kung makakapag-dictate sa amin. Ginanap lang namin, ginampanan namin ang aming tungkulin. Yun pong filing of cases ay product po yan ng pagpapalitan ng kuro-kuro ng opinion ng 5 abogado. Idagdag niyo na po ako. No, pinag-aralan po namin mabuti at nag-base lamang kami sa basic elements ng bawat krimen na ipinay namin at jurisprudence. Yung jurisprudence po ay sa kaalaman ng mga layman, yun po ang mga desisyon ng Supreme Court sa kaparehong kaso na pinagbabatayan. No, pinag-aralan po namin mabuti at nag-base lamang kami sa basic elements ng bawat krimen na ipinay namin at jurisprudence. Yung jurisprudence po ay sa kaalaman ng mga layman, yun po ang mga desisyon ng Supreme Court sa kaparehong kaso na pinagbabatayan namin. So being a judge, we were trained. If you base your decision on the basic law, the elements of the law, backed up by jurisprudence, you will never go wrong. Ay ngayon po ang basis namin. Sana po binasa ni Atty. Sal Canelo yung aming report, makikita niya, binatbat namin ng sakatutak na jurisprudence bakit kami nag-come out with that decision. Ganun po yun.
I would assume na mabibigat yung hawak nilang evidence for NBI itself to file such cases.
And by evidences, sir, you mean na baka nahanap na po nila yung possible hitman na nakausap or ganun po ba, sir?
That could be a possibility, ma'am. Isa sa mga possible. Pero of course, we cannot say until such time NBI divulges yung mga nakalap nilang information.
Thank you.
Dagdagan ko lang para sa akin kasi personal take on this. Pinakamabigat po talaga sa akin yung active threat na yun. The threat to kill the president, the First Lady, the Speaker, para sa akin napakabigat. Bad po yun eh.
Thank you, Krisha. Any questions from our media friends? Willie Delgado from Radio 630. Go ahead.
Good morning, ho. Dun sa 7 articles of impeachment, magko-qualify ho ba yun yung dalawang prayer na removal from office at saka yung perpetual disqualification?
hindi po kami prosecutor. Sir, don't quote me on this. Sa maliit ko pong kaalaman, sa maliit kong pala, opo, yun po sa, at least sa nabasa ko I hope I am right. Correct me if I'm mistaken. Opo, yun po kasi yung talagang charges sa impeachment. Kasi in any impeachment case na dadaan sa Senado as impeachment court, dalawa lang po kasi yung mangyayari doon. It's either guilty or not guilty. Now, when the individual accused is guilty, yung pong nabanggit nyo ang magiging sanction o ang tatanggapin niya. Wala pong labis, walang kulang. Yun po ang nakasaad po sa saligang batas natin.
Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you. Haji Camino from Brigada. You're recognized.
Sir, morning. Masarap yung piatos. Anyway.
Sarap, baong ko yung kanina.
Sir, ang question ko, babalikan ko lang yung sa NBI. Kasi nag-release po ng very long statement si VP Sara kahapon. Sabi niya po, as expected. So, any comment po dun sa very short statement po ni VP?
Nag-comment na ako actually yesterday na may video ako. Pero sabi ko nga, expected yun.
Expected na.
Expected din namin yun. Kasi sabi ko nga, i-death threat mo yung Pangulo, First Lady, saka Speaker. Sabi ko nga, bad yun. Dapat di ginagawa ng tao yun. Sama yun.
Okay, sir.
Again, ako kasi yung stand ko lagi na NBI kasi agency natin ng National Bureau of Investigations. Talagang if you'd go to the bottom of things, I'm sure that meron silang nangalap talagang evidence. So if there is enough grounds or evidence para mag-file sila, hindi po gagawin basta ng NBI, in my humble opinion. So I think talagang meron at wait and see tayo kung how things will proceed. Let the process proceed, sir.
Sige. Total may shout-out po kayo kanina kay President Marcos Kong Pao. Maybe you would like to elaborate po on that. Particularly siguro yung magiging impact po nung very strong statements ni Pangulong Marcos against the, although hindi naman pinangalanan, pero obvious, kumbaga, kung sino po yung pinatutungkulan.
Hindi. Ako dun talaga, ang kilig factor ko talaga dun. Yung sa West Philippine issue pa rin. Sabi ko nga, di ba, yung recent na press statement ko, yung mga mouthpiece, saka yung mga pro na China ang stand nila. Sabi ko, dapat pro-Pinoy tayo, pro-Pilipino. Kaya doon talaga yung nagustuhan ko na part ng speech niya na, di ba, hindi tayo papayag na ang kokontrol sa atin ibang bansa. Malakas po na message sa akin yun. Maliban po sa pag-endorso nga ng mga kandidato na kasama namin sa alyansa, naniniwala ako na personally, yun ang highlight para sa akin dun sa speech niya. Sayang nga, hindi ako nakasunod pero nagkaroon din kasi ng alyansa na mini rally doon sa amin. Dumaan sila sa San Fernando, La Union. Kaya nag-host na lang ako at syempre, binigyan natin ng daan para ma-meet din po ng mga taga-La Union yung mga ilang kandidato ng alyansa. Pero sa akin, yun yung highlight ng buong speech niya.
Just to add, sir, ako yung hindi kasi naano ko doon sa sinabi ni President BBM, yung issue-based, yung mga kandidato doon sa alyansa, actually medyo kinikilabutan ako nung pinapanood ko yung speech ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na talagang nakita mo yung stand ng mga kandidato sa alyansa, very issue-based eh. Talagang may stand sila bilang candidates eh. Ako kasi naniniwala na maraming nangangampanya na ngayon, nagsimula na yung national elections, maraming mga senatoriables na tumatakbo. Hindi kasi masyadong accepted sa akin na yung sinisigaw ng kandidato, iboto mo ko dahil dala ko si gantong kandidato. Dahil nakaalyansa ako sa gantong partido. I think that should not be the case. We are all Filipinos eh. Those candidates who stand for our country should be the ones na pipiliin ng kababayan natin. And when I heard that President Bongbong Marcos was raising issues to stand para sa bansa natin. Kaya natutuwa ako na ito yung mga kandidato sa alyansa. And kami, na being part of the alyansa, will be really fighting for this senatoriables who are standing for our country, hindi kung kani-kaninong politiko o partido.
Last question na lang po. I think this was refuted already by the former retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Carpio. But baka may comment lang po kayo sa sinasabi ni former Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez na pag napatalsik daw po si VP Sara through impeachment nga po, magtutulak daw po kay former President Duterte to run again for president in 2028.
Good luck. Siya ba magwa-vice kay dating Pangulo? Siguro malamang tatakbo siyang senador or vice kasi parang ganun yung premise eh. So good luck po. Pwede naman pong okay lang naman po yun. Pwede siyang tumakbo. Baka ewan ko, baka lumaban din ako. Para i-oppose yung mga bad na pinaggagawa nila ngayon, kahit di ako manalo. Pero anyone can run, anyone can file for any position naman, basta qualified po. At saka number 1 na criteria po, dapat Pilipino. Siguro susunod na criteria, dapat mahal nila Pilipinas.
Thank you, Haji. Melanie Reyes from Radyo Pilipinas.
Sir, good morning. Sabi po ng NEDA may panandali ang pagtigil ng USAID assistance. Other issue naman, sir, bukod sa impeachment. Sa inyong palagay, sir, anong pwedeng magawa ng gobyerno for long-term economic resilience para mabawasan yung dependence natin sa foreign aid?
Well, marami pong interventions ang executive, no? Pero sa amin dito po sa legislative, nakikita naman po natin yung ginagawa sa murang pagkain, saka yung mga other committees po. Hindi lang naman po yung foreign aid and financial aid. Sabi nga, we have to be sufficient and we have to have stability, sabi nga nila. Pati yung food security natin, isa rin sa mga tinitignan. So, magkakaakibat po lahat yan eh. So, on our part, sa House of Representatives po, siyempre yung policy support and policy development po, saka kung may mga kailangan tayong i-amend, doon po talaga yung dapat tutukan ng House. Although naka-recess po tayo ngayon, wala naman po limit na pwede po kaming mag-conduct ng mga hearings namin. Pwede naman pong gawin yun kahit na naka-break, kahit campaign period. Kasi nga, yun po ang number 1 na kailangan nating tutukan, yung mga bagay-bagay na yon, which is yun naman po ang prioridad ng ating Pangulo. So again on our part, yung pagsulong, development, policy support, saka kung ano man, kung kailangan namin pumunta sa ibang bansa at to seek kung paano nila ginagawa yun through other forms of legislation, or yung Pangulo, marami naman siyang treaties, marami naman siyang iba't ibang bansa na kaibigan, saka kasama. Marami pong other forms of aid coming in. Not only in terms of monetary or anumang aid yan. Kahit nga po, sabi ko nga, kahit na tuturuan lang nila tayo kung paano ginagawa sa ibang bansa para ma-overcome nila yung mga kakulangan po sa ganyang aid, okay lang po yun. At least, maraming sumusuporta pa rin po sa Pilipinas.
Sir, Valentine's bukas, singin ko lang yung reaction nyo kasi sabi sa SWF,
It is not bound by the legislative calendar. It's purely a political question on how Senate would proceed with it. So, yan po ang sagot dyan. No? Hindi po nakatali yan sa black and white. And we will see how the Senate would react on and act on the impeachment complaint.
Sir, baka lang din po meron kayong comment dun sa sinabi ni SP Cheese na unfair na madaliin sila dahil 2 buwan daw po inupuan ng House ang impeachment complaints.
Well, again, we respect the position of the Senate President. In fact, it has been explained naman po ni Congressman Noy that they have their own rules. We don't want to at least influence the impartiality ng mga senator judges. We will just wait for the Senate to convene as an impeachment court. Sa amin po, as long as we have already relayed and we have displayed the urgency and the priority that we have established that these impeachment complaints should be given primacy and should given priority, it's up to the court, no, the impeachment court, the Senate. When will they convene as a impeachment court? So, yun lang po yung amin. There's no prescriptive time naman po, prescriptive time na sinabi po sa Constitution that once it is filed, once it is transmitted to the Senate is bound to, for example, a certain number of days to convene as an impeachment court. So, it's up to how the Senate will define and will act on the wordings of the Constitution na sinasabi po shall act forthwith. As far as we are concerned, we take that as immediate and urgent.
Okay. Sir, doon naman sa mga prosecutors, paano po yung hatian, division of labor doon sa 7 articles of impeachment? Sinong congressman ang mag-handle ng specific articles po?
As of the moment po, wala pa pong assignments po of which prosecutor will be handling which articles. I think there's something to be discussed further down as we form the full impeachment secretariat po.
Your reaction din, sir, na parang yung mga ibang mga kamag-anak ng ibang senador ay hindi po pumirma doon sa impeachment complaints. Parang doon sa mga kamag-anak, 3 lang po yung pumirma. But most of them hindi po pumirma dun sa complaints. May implications po ba ito on the... Well, how would you interpret that?
I hope you'd understand we'd refuse to comment on that po. Especially given that these are our colleagues and we respect their opinion, every representative has the right to conduct themselves as they see fit for their constituents. But one thing's for sure po, the numbers are very clear. This is more than 1/3 required. There is a supermajority, so to speak. Yun na po yung impeachment complaint po natin.
Just to add, legally, it will not affect the impeachment complaint. It will not affect the impeachment trial. And cold neutrality of an impartial judge by the Senate and the members of the Senate would be better preserved siguro kung may ganyan.
I-add ko lang, it just goes to show na yung mga lumalabas po na mga fake news at mga rumors na merong sa apilitan, na merong nagkakaroon po ng pag-influensya sa ating mga miyembro, ito po yung nagpapatunay na ang bawat isa po sa amin ay nagdesisyon base ho doon sa kanilang pag-appreciate ng merits ng complaint na ito.
Last na lang po. Your comment, sinabi raw po ni Duterte Youth Party List Chairman Ronald Cardema, alleges funds for later release were promised to the 215 lawmakers who signed the 4th impeachment complaint against Vice President Duterte.
Again, kaya po ang committee, ang TRICOM ay nagko-conduct po ng investigation at inquiry in aid of legislation dahil po precisely because of these rumors and this chismis and this fake news na lumalabas po doon sa ating lipunan. Wala pong katotohanan sa mga sinasabi na ganyan. We would like to again to focus on the impeachment complaint. Ito po ay diversionary tactic na ginagawa po ng mga tao o grupo na ina-assail po nila yung integrity ng House, yung merits nung kaso o nung complaint na ipinasa po natin, tinransmit po natin sa Senate. Gusto ko lang pong ipaabot sa ating mga kababayan na we should be focused on the complaints, on the articles of impeachment. Wag tayo magpapadala at maniniwala sa mga diversionary tactics na ginagawa po ng ilang grupo po. Kaya nga po tayo inaagaran natin na magkaroon po ng batas para ma-regulate po natin at mabigyan sa solusyon itong mga fake news po na lumalabas, disinformation, malinformation, and misinformation po na lumalaganap sa ating lipunan. Isa na po itong mga balitang ganito.
Thank you. Next question, Krisa Subing-Subing from Inquirer. Go ahead.
Hi, sir. Slightly different question naman po. Can you give us an inside story po on how the votes were mustered yesterday? Kailan po nakuha ng mga mambabatas po or kailan kinonsolidate, kailan binuo yung fourth complaint, and paano po nag-gather ng support to endorse the complaint?
Well, admittedly, this is a long time coming po, no? Each congressman, although there was no talk of impeachment, they've already formed their own opinions from the hearings of the Quadcom and the Good Government committees. And I guess this was, accumulated into the first three impeachment complaints po, no? But the first three did not gather consensus. It did not gather momentum needed. And while the most congressmen, especially the members of the Justice Committee, were eagerly awaiting po to fulfill our mandate by hearing it in the Justice Committee, I believe the party leaders po have already thought of finding consensus between the three. So they took the best parts, took out the parts that they feel were not agreeable to other members, and that was what was presented. And finally, yesterday, it resulted in the impeachment po, the initiation of the complaint.
There were party consultations, and considering that there were 3 previous impeachment complaints filed, nakabuo ng mas matatag at mas klarong impeachment complaint na nakakuha ng suporta at kumpiyansa ng mga congressmen. That is why with this fourth impeachment complaint, which is clearer, where the evidence is presented in a stronger manner, it gave confidence to more than 200 or 215 congressmen to act as complainants in this impeachment complaint. So unti-unti pong nabuo at getting the best of the 3 previous impeachment complaints, as earlier said by Kong Rog.
Idagdag ko lang po, no? Simula po nung tumanggap po tayo ng mga complaints, 3 pong complaints ito, impeachment complaints, wala pong choice ang miyembro ng House of Representatives kundi bigyan po ng pansin itong complaints na ito, because it now borders our constitutional mandate. It's a question of whether we act based on our constitutional mandate na mabigyan pong pansin itong complaints na ito. Number 2, ang alam ko po hindi lang 215. Meron din pong mga miyembro na nag-submit po ng kanilang mga signatures, no? Kung titingnan po natin nasa 225 na po kung di ako nagkakamali. But the signatures that appeared to be initially published in the media at saka yung nalakap po natin ay 215. Those are the members who were physically present during yesterday's filing of the fourth complaint. Meron din pong abot ng kanilang suporta or sa complaint na ito. Although I don't know how they would be able to be included in as complainants to amend the 215 to make it the 225 kung di ako nagkakamali. But that would depend on, I guess, on the court, on the Senate acting as impeachment court, whether they would allow such amendment to the complaints, number of complainants.
May follow-up lang po. Sir, kailan po nag-start yung mga party consultations po on consolidating the fourth impeachment complaint po? And does that mean that essentially the congressmen have already made up their minds, even though President Marcos himself has signaled na ayaw niya pong ituloy yung impeachment process because madideprioritize yung mga priorities ng Marcos administration?
We thank the President for respecting the separation of powers and respecting the independence of Congress. And we also respect the decision of the executive department. As far as party consultations are concerned, it's been ongoing since the first impeachment complaint has been filed. Internally, depende sa partido. Depende sa kanilang approach kung magtatanong sila internally kung may pabor ba sa impeachment, ano ang klase ng articles of impeachment ang nakakarapat. That is why nabuo itong fourth impeachment complaint where there is a consensus of more than 200 members who signed kasi mas malinaw itong impeachment complaint at mas matatag ang paglatag ng mga articles of impeachment.
Thank you, Krisha. Next question from Billy Vegas of Abante Politico.
Kung may mga kumakalat sa social media, may kapalit daw na ayuda yung pagpirma.
Well, as you mentioned po earlier, no, that's why we held this press conference because we understand with the events of yesterday, a lot of misinformation and disinformation will be spreading around. Categorically, we're going to, I don't know, it actually dignifies this answer, but we're going to have to categorically deny such allegations in the same way deny yung allegations po from the chairman ba yun, na may FLR. This was an independent action. We believe that's done faithfully and truthfully by each member, that they signified their intention and support of the impeachment complaint based on the merits of the case and nothing more. Yun lang po siguro.
Just to add to that, no, ito po ay nagsimula na po ang smear campaign sa prosesong ito. Actually, ako personally, I actually expect that a lot of misinformation and fake news will be coming out, no, after the filing of the complaint, no. So ang gusto ko lang pong i-reiterate at panawagan sa ating mga kababayan, wag ho tayong madadala sa ganitong klaseng fake news. Kasi ito po ay paraan para ilihis kung ano po yung talagang merits nitong prosesong ito. Yung mga complaint po, meron pong betrayal of public trust, meron pong mismanagement and yung utilization ng pondo ng bayan, meron pong issue dito na whether as highest or second highest official of the land would be allowed to contract an assassin to kill a sitting president, the Speaker of the House, and the First Lady. Yun po yung mga nandu sa articles of impeachment. So gusto ko lang pong ipanawagan sa ating mga kababayan. Kung meron po tayong nababalitaan ganito, ito po ay mga diversionary tactics. Ililihis po nila yung attention natin doon po sa proseso and at the same time to smear, to degrade, and to put question in our mind na ito pong prosesong ito ay hindi tama. Yun po ang gusto nilang ma-achieve sa mga ganitong fake news at misinformation na lumalabas.
Kung I understand kung babanatan kayo ng mga critics, kaya lang meron kasing post dito si Congressman Lord Suwan. Ang sabi niya, to my supporters, I know you stand with me. Rest assured the ayuda is coming.
Well, yes, kanina pong umaga nakausap po namin si Congressman Lord Dansuan. Unang-una po, dinideny po niya categorically na hindi po yan totoo. Isa po yan sa paraan na sinasabi ko nga, mga fake news. In fact, I would personally expect na meron pong lalabas din na mga balita tungkol sa akin. So ito po, sabi ko nga po, simula po nung nagkaroon tayo ng impeachment process, unti-unti pong lumalabas ito na pinipreempt nila po yung magiging resulta nito at dinilihis po nila yung atensyon ng ating taong bayan. I would personally say that Congressman Lord Dansuan is one of the most decent members of the House of Representatives. Hindi po niya ugali na kung